Welcome to another episode of Five Strands with Art Del Cueto. As always, I will remind you, we need to continue to grow this and make it successful. So I encourage you to please not only hit the subscribe button, but also share. We need to get out of the echo chamber, and people need to understand what the reality is and what's going on out there. And talking about the echo chamber, the reason I mentioned that is I just did a special on PBS. And I've been getting messages about it saying, hey, we saw you on the PBS special that just happened last night. It's called Frontline. And there was other individuals that were interviewed at the same time. You know, former Commissioner Chief Magnus was interviewed. There were some attorneys that were interviewed. There were some agitators, protesters, whatever you want to call them. They were interviewed. They said they gave their point of view on what they were doing and why they're out there protesting. There was a lot of talk about the different shootings and the demonstrations that happened in Chicago and in Minnesota, in Los Angeles. And I was one of them. So just to give you guys a heads up how a lot of this works is I was contacted by PBS. They wanted to get my point of view on it. I believe no one from DHS was giving interviews. So I went ahead and went up to Phoenix. Now, they did have a prior interview that they had done on Chief Bavino. So he was, some of his points were brought up and they showed the interview. I was brought up there. I was asked a lot of questions. Just to give you an example, I was there right around a little bit over 2 hours or close to 2 hours talking about the different issues. There's parts in the documentary, I guess you would call it, or the news video, where they ask about a video. They show a video, and there was an attorney that looked at it. Chief Magnus looked at the video. They were talking about how horrendous and how horrible it was on how the agents acted. I saw the same video and I broke it down in a different way, and I explained to them how, look, there's no way for agents to know who's media, who's not media. Everyone's dressed, the same way. But also the point was, you could tell who the agents were because there's the argument of them being masked and you don't know who they are. You could definitely tell who the agents were. They're wearing the uniform, of course. But my point on that is I do these things because I think it's important, as I said, to break from that echo chamber. People need to understand. If you may not change all of their minds, but you at least have some of these people think that the reality of what's going on, we're not anti-immigration, we're anti-illegal immigration. I've said that many times, but the actual program did not use hardly any of my interview. They used one part where I am quoted, and I was talking and I said that agents don't wake up in the morning saying, I want to go hurt somebody or I want to go ruin somebody's life, and things to that effect. But it was very, very short. It was less than a minute for sure of my interview that they used. But the point is, you got to continue to move forward. We need to share our ideas. We need to share with people and tell them, look, this is what's really happening. It's not what you're hearing sometimes on the media or what you're hearing on the news. They definitely gave more airtime to those that are against Border Patrol, those that are against ICE and law enforcement. But that didn't stop me. But I did want to put this out here so I can tell people, look, what you saw is not entirely everything that I talked about. It's not everything that I said. Apparently, it's just a lot of the things that I believe I said, and they agreed with me. But as I've done before, I've done it with other news outlets where I'll call them out and I'll say, well, how come you didn't use all the interview? And they've been very open and said, well, Art, it's sometimes difficult to go back and forth with you because you have all these points, you have all this experience, you've done all this. It doesn't fit certain people's narratives, but that's okay. I was happy to go out there. I was happy to do it. I'm going to continue to do it. As I've said, this is my outlet. I'm trying to get it through Five Strands with Art Del Cueto, trying to get as many followers and listeners as we possibly can. So I really seriously hope that you guys are sharing this and that you guys are subscribing, because we need to continue to have a voice. It's very important. I've been down this road before where, we have an administration that's helpful, and that was President Trump last time he was in office. But a lot of things can change. So we got to continue to move forward. We got to continue to message and educate people. That's how we get things done. and we make some type of changes. So please share, subscribe, tell people about it. And again, I will continue pushing this voice. I will continue talking to people because, look, as corny as it sounds, it's important. I've been offered positions, I've been offered jobs. I haven't taken them because first and foremost, I don't want to leave Arizona. I want to stay here. I want to be able to, continue to make this state great. Elections are coming up, so I'm hoping we get the right individuals in those positions and move forward for the better of the country, for the better of the state. It's extremely important to me, and it should be extremely important to you as well, and the future of our country. On that note, thank you, everybody, for those of you that have shared it, that have subscribed. Let's just continue to grow. And till next time, stay safe and God bless.